All right, here's where we're headed. So Modeling Bootcamp Volume 1, Efficiency and Techniques. So this entire course is built around building on techniques, how to be more efficient, how to get away from using the menus, how to use more hotkeys, and how to use all the tools together to work in a very, very efficient way. This is the scene that we're going to be building out. We have a couple different assets. We have this cage asset, we have these barrels, we have the keys, and then we have the ground plane. We're mostly going to be working on the cage, the barrel, and the keys. This will just be a little bit of a bonus. Doesn't really require that much work, but it's a cool little technique. The individual assets that we'll be doing. So here's an example of the keys here. We have a couple different examples. We will be getting into very, very basic texturing, but that's more for modeling display rather than actual texturing. For example, this just has a very basic roughness map on it. We're not going to be getting into full-blown texturing or anything like that. Very basic automatic smart UV projects with either a bump map or a roughness map. And you can see that here as well. These are our barrels, final result that we're going to end up with. And we got very basic bump map, very basic roughness map, but 99% of it is going to be working on the model. We have our cage here, both open and closed. So we'll be modeling all this out. We'll be modeling chain out, all of that good stuff. So what Bootcamp is not. So Bootcamp is not basic functionality within the edit mode. So getting in and out of edit mode, tabbing, using selections like this, all these things, I'm not going to be stopping to explain what they are. Basic exclusions, basic, all this really basic stuff. We're not going to touch up on that. You're already expected to know how to do all that. Basic viewport navigation, basic viewport selection and modifications, selecting things like edge loops, things like that. All of that is covered in our Blender modeling fundamentals. So if you haven't done this already, I highly recommend going through this first. This is a nice beginner step into Bootcamp. It'll cover, a broad stroke over a lot of the most common modeling tools, the most common ones that you want to use. The texturing and shading fundamentals is another really, really good one. It's not required to do this one because we're not going to be doing a whole lot of texturing. But basic, if you want to, as long as you're comfortable with the shader editor, doing basic nodes, stuff like that. Again, there's only a couple chapters with those in there. We're primarily going to be focused on modeling. So if you've done this, I recommend doing this once, going back through it and following along with the screenshots. And you should basically be able to model almost anything in here without referencing the screenshots or anything like that. If you're still referencing the screenshots here and there, that's totally fine. We'll also have the starter kit download, so you'll find that below the video, which will include our basic reference images that we'll be using. There'll be a modeling hotkey cheat sheet. This is not going to have all of the hotkeys that you need to get through here. This is just going to be the most common modeling operations that we're going to be using. Things like viewport navigation, those are not going to be included in here. It starts with basically quick hotkey setup, which we'll get into. The basic basically we'll start with the keys. We'll model out the keys first. So this is everything that you need for the keys. And then the barrels is everything plus this. And then the cage is everything plus this and that, and so on and so forth. So have these handy with you, but everything that you need when you're following along with the screenshots will be there for you.